Hi there, I'm Tyler, and I'm here playing with some folks from the Gauntlet gaming community. If you've watched anything I've run before, you've probably seen me play with the Gauntlet, some of the most wonderful people on Earth, fantastic role players all around, and you too can come and find us. We're at thegauntlet-rpg.com. We have a Facebook presence. We're out there on G+. You should definitely come find us. Absolutely fantastic people to play with. And we have some wonderful folks going to be playing Spirit of 77, but we're going to be using a story adventure from the Gauntlet Codex, which is our fanzine, which puts out amazing shit every month. Amazing stuff. Called Serious Moonlight. And this is from Codex Glamour. And it is a story about David Bowie in Berlin in 1977. But while he's there, he's making an album, Low, and preparing and writing songs for heroes as well. But making an album, Low. And in our story, apparently, he has also come into contact with vampires, perhaps being infected with vampirism himself. His longtime friends have become concerned about him, and new people are hovering around him. We don't know what's caused this, but we are certainly investigating to find out. And we had 4 amazing investigators looking into this, but one of them is unfortunately having internet trouble, and so he will be missing tonight. Michael, we miss you. But we will be continuing on with the other 3, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves in just a second. But I do want to mention that we have, as a Gauntlet game, we have the Gauntlet inclusivity policy in effect, which is saying that we're all here as friends, we're all here to support each other. We have an open door policy. If anything, becomes disturbing, you can certainly feel free to use that. But we're here to take care of each other and have a good time. There isn't any sort of animosity or unpleasantness. That's not our style. We're here to have a good time together. Second, we have the X card on the table, which if you don't know, or those of you who happen to be watching, you see someone do this, or if someone puts something in the chat, or someone just says, hey, Tyler, I'd like to X that. If something is particularly problematic, if it just bothers you, if it's taking away from your fun, if you feel that this isn't something I want to see, feel free to do that. I may ask for a little clarification so I can know where to back up to. We'll back up, we'll reframe, we'll head forward. Of course, if there is, again, we're friends at a table. If there is something that you want to say, that want to explain, want to talk about, we're here for it. You can put something in our chat. We have a cheap Gauntlet Hangout or a Google Hangout. We also, you can take a minute here. We're all here to take care of each other. So feel free to use that. It's here for our protection. Now, I'm going to give a quick recap of what we did last time and then hear from our characters who they are. We had found our investigators through various means, and they will be telling you that shortly, who were hearing about David Bowie being infected with this vampiric curse, this vampiric, or at least some sort of strange effect upon him. And they had come to Berlin to investigate this further. They had met at a nightclub called Chez Rummy Hague. Rummy Hague was one of the great drag queen performers of the time. This is her club. She is a phenomenal, unbelievable icon, gorgeous and amazing, and was linked with David Bowie as both a close friend and a potential lover. They were very close at this time. And they had all, our investigators had come together in this club, and some of them had known each other. And to meet with Mary Hopkin, who is a pop star. She wrote, if you ever happen to hear it, those were the days, old friend. But she had come in because her husband is Tony Visconti, who is David Bowie's lifelong producer and very, very close friend, because she and Tony are concerned about David. David has isolated himself with kind of these new people who he's calling his family, and he's acting very strangely, even for Bowie, and it's made them very concerned. But most importantly, they got to get this album done before they get the hell out of Berlin. And so you had all been brought together to kind of figure out what the hell's going on and protect David from these folks influencing him. As she had given out some information, coming through the door, she saw two of these people that David had been calling family. They were tall, very Kraftwerks-looking Germans. They had blonde hair that was spiked and long black trench coats and black turtlenecks and black jeans and combat boots. And they came walking in, and we had encountered them. There had been a bit of a fight, and the performers up on stage had then jumped into the brawl that was going on. I think we're going to hear now about our characters, and then we'll reset our scene and get started. So, Ryan, why don't you introduce your character for us?
I'm playing Remy Belrose. I'm definitely not a spy. I don't know why you would think that, but I am very French. You might notice that I don't have an accent, but that's because I speak English very well. I'm very good at my job, which is not being a spy. I'm generally pretty hot, boyish face, hotter than Sparks. I said it, so it's true now. Ha, take that. And I think that pretty well summarizes me. I'm just here because Bowie is so awesome, and he's in town, so I'm in town. And also, I have some weird drugs that I think Spark just huffed.
I think you're right. Patrick, why don't you introduce your character?
So I'm playing John Sparks Duke. He's just a good old boy from Kentucky who is a grease monkey because he likes to work with his hands on mechanical things. And he's visitor because obviously he's an American here in Europe, not because he's some sort of alien in the other sense where he'd be like an extraterrestrial being who's come to this world from somewhere else. That is completely ridiculous, and I don't know why people keep bringing it up. Anyways, I'm not on the run from anyone, not any government, certainly not American government or some shadowy organization that we haven't run across yet, because I'm not on the run from them. It's very straightforward. Let's see. I am significantly hotter than Remy. It's just fact. I know these Europeans use like a metric number scale for looks, but it just doesn't even compare to our American scale. And I like tinkering with stuff, making it a little better, playing around with tech and using some extremely inventive ideas that I came up with on the farm. Again, no space alien tech. I have recently come to this club. I met my old friend Wrecker and these other weirdos that are here who I'm not quite sure about. And then some shit went down, and well, there was this weird pink vampire cocaine, and without any Bunsen burners or advanced spectrographic equipment, I decided the best way to investigate exactly what it's made of and what it does is to just swallow the entire thing, one gulp, all the way down. And my keen Kentuckian senses will be what I use to analyze that particular substance.
Kentuckians are indeed known for their ability to analyze cocaine. And so, let's move over to you, Dave. Apologies to anybody from Kentucky who happened to watch this. And so, David, let's move over and have you introduce your character.
I'm playing Eric Wrecker Williams, who Tony Messia called in to come all the way from LA out here to try and help with this situation. I'm a professional freelance bodyguard, and Tony Messia and I had worked together in the past where I had messed something up and I need to redeem myself for that. So I took this job as a favor to Tony. And now we're in this weird club that's like not Wrecker's Jam. And these fools come rolling up on us like they're real hard. So I decided to give them a little cocktail and a little light. I blew it in their face and I lit it on fire, and turns out these freaks don't like fire. And then we saw some of these dancers come flying out of nowhere. I think that's where we're at. But
I believe it is. And indeed, we had seen the two, again, very dour-looking and black German gentlemen, and they had this fire spat at them, and as they burned, their skin had kind of peeled back, and underneath it was this dark, greeny black skin, horrific looking, and they had sort of back from the fire, and that had been when the performers up on stage, one of them had leapt, and I mean, it was like 40 feet, leapt over and just slashed into the back of Wrecker. They attractive looking female impersonators with their glittering sort of diamond looking nails on. 4 of them still up on stage, one who had leapt in towards Wrecker, and it was then that Rami Haig had come walking out and willkommen, and had said, "Now is when we dance." And that is indeed where we're going to start. And I think I'm going to start to make a mention. We had a journalist with us last time who was also a bit of a holy roller. And when Wrecker had been slashed into, we'd seen him lean over and holy light almost. The energy had passed between them and he had healed Wrecker a bit. We'll get to maybe what happened with that journalist here in a moment. But I think I'm going to start with you, Sparks, because you have just ingested a great deal, a good solid 8 balls, so about 3.5 grams of pink cocaine called Red Tide.
I am performing rigorous scientific experimentations.
Do you have a means of doing that as a personal move?
So I have, I don't know if these roll into rolling type moves, but here's what I have that I'm going with. I have cutting edge when you have thoroughly examined or acquired detailed plans for an X-Tech device, which I don't know if this falls under, but that's what I have. You can use your good with your hands to repair, build, or modify it. And my good with my hands is given enough time, tools, and parts, you can fix, fabricate, or assemble just about anything. So if I need to modify a normal piece of equipment, like a normal 8 ball of cocaine, I might be able to do that in the future. I don't know if that gives me a ton of like questions to ask or control over what happens right now, but great future fictional positioning.
I think that we will look towards some of that in the future, because right now, I think we need you to keep your cool. As this goes in, as you put it into your mouth, first off, there's a bit of a burn and then numb. And as you swallow it down, it's like you can't feel your throat anymore, and your mouth suddenly gets dry. But you definitely can feel it when it hits your stomach, and there's a burn. And it's a little like a Popeye cartoon. It's that sort of, you just feel phenomenal. You feel so strong and wonderful. There's a battleship right there in your bicep all of a sudden.
Oh, actually, could I do free your mind?
Sure, yes, because you are definitely on some drugs.
When you relax through indulging in a forbidden vice or open your mind up to contemplate the current situation.
Excellent. Yes, absolutely.
So whatever sort of like pass out or physical reaction I was going to be avoiding, I'm not avoiding that. I'm just leaning into the trip.
Pass out was not going to be it, I assure you.
Whatever sort of reaction. So soul. Ooh, I'm actually good at soul. I'm great at doing drugs.
I'm not sure soul really reflects being great at doing drugs, but
so that's 6, 7, 8.
Excellent.
Which
with 8,
yeah,
you have. I will give you a truthful but cryptic answer.
So I'm going to ask you a question about the current situation. Which is, is this like weird vampire blood cocaine?
Okay. David, that's funny. Sorry. Sidebar chat. Okay. As this begins flowing through you and you're feeling this, first off, you can kind of taste that coppery blood flavor to it that's still, even in your numbed mouth, still sits on your tongue. And as you let it flow through, and you could tell it's, it's got you super hyped. It's just charging every muscle in your body, and it's like your skin is electric. But as your mind drifts, it's not some tomb or some way out daddy in an old cape. No. You see the stars. And you can feel space. Something not of this world. This does not come from humans.
Who said not of this world? I didn't say not of this world.
Okay, so that's what you're kind of sensing. I'm going to go over to you, Wrecker, as we've got the two guys that had been burned, and they've moved back, and they're all peeled, and they look like they're psyching themselves back up to move forward now that they've been shocked. We got beside you that performer. She's tall, elegant, again, those diamondy looking nails, and she just did this huge leap and scratched into your back. But as you look at her, you see that she's, you would think would be paying attention to you since she just attacked you. But her face is completely looking over at those two other guys, and you could see her eyes have widened, her mouth's kind of dropped, like she did not expect to see them. What would you like to do?
You mean the two guys who just got torched?
Yes.
Huh.
She's shocked at looking at them.
I think I'm going to take the opportunity here to try and push everyone towards a kitchen or something. There's a kitchen at this place, right?
Oh yeah, you back behind the bar.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and shuffle everyone in that direction. And I'm like, what's up with the guy from Kentucky? Is he gonna be all right? Come on.
All right, so you're grabbing Mary and Remy and kind of supporting up Sparks and pulling back.
Yeah, yeah. Because I've got some skills that I can make happen if I'm in an environment like that, I think.
All right. Why don't we have you do a get out of the way?
Cool.
And Tyler, if you just want some interesting shit to play with, one of my alien bits is the electrical field around my body has an extremely strong electrical field, which plays around with electrical equipment, can turn it on, short it out, stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
There's not a particular role to it. It's just something that could happen. So
gotcha.
Cool. I got 8.
8. All right. And that was with your hustle. Mm-hmm. So as you're moving through, those two guys are trying to, they see you pulling back and they move forward to try and get you. That performer beside you has kind of backed up and looked back up towards Rami. And Rami and the performers up there are looking down at this, and you see Rami arch her eyebrow at these two guys and say, "This is not your place. Get out," she says. Now, with your get out of the way, these two guys are trying to slash at you as you're retreating. They're trying to get a hold of you. You can take half the harm, or you can take no harm, but I get to pick one of those three. You're knocked down, you drop what you're holding, or somebody else takes the hit.
I think I'm gonna take half the harm because I gotta make up for the last time.
The last time. All right. So you'll take half harm. As you grab the guys and are moving back, and Mary, one of these Germans moves forward, and there's a quick snick sound as a switchblade pops, and he stabs at you, catching you just under your rib cage. I imagine, though, that your suit helps kind of prevent that. It slides off a bit, but it will do 1 harm. Now, if you have any armor, that would still apply. I don't know if you do. As you hustle everybody back, getting back behind the bar, and as you do, the lights have started going a little nutty as you're moving through, and already there were strobes and stuff, but it gets dark around you. We'll say with Sparks, you are definitely sending off the everybody. Remy, you could feel the hair on the back of your neck rising from the strange static energy from Sparks. But as you move through, the light's kind of cutting out. And you hear up on the stage, as y'all get back kind of into a door behind the bar, she says, get out of my place, or I will give you the P-Funk. And you see the Diamond Dogs that are there with her. They're looking down at him. And those 2 Germans move up, and they attack the one that had slashed into you, Wrecker. Now, Remy, you're being hustled off. Are you just going along with it, or are you doing something?
I'm sort of going with it, trying to make sure that Mary and Sparks are successfully hustled off, because clearly Wrecker's evaluated the situation. I'm going to take his evaluation and get the civilians out of the way.
Excellent.
And also, what is a P-Funk? This is clearly like an American thing? I don't know.
And so as these 2 guys hack into, the performer who had jumped forward, there's this kind of blood that they slash into her, and she pulls back the nails, and there's a brawl going on there as the 4 other Diamond Dogs come jumping off. They don't do quite that big 30-foot leap, but they're really, one of them's really fast. The other one you see is she's coming through, picks up one of the bar tables and looks like she's about to swing it, as Rami looks up towards the DJ booth and says, put on the funk! And as P-Funk begins playing across the club, and as y'all are just getting inside of that door, you look back, Remy, and you see those 2 Germans go, no! And they run from the funk, bursting out of the door and leaving the club.
I will note that Germans are allergic to funk. Okay.
And so as you're all back in the kitchen, the bartender has watched you come. The lights are flashing out in the dance area, the discotheque. There had been some kind of yells, but these are folks who are used to some oddnesses going on, and so the dancing and the whoops, they think it's kind of maybe been part of the show. And you're hearing the call and response of, yes, we've got the funk. As it's going on out there. Wrecker, what do you do now that you're back here? It's just you guys in this kitchen area.
And the kitchen lights are flickering too?
They're flickering a bit, and as you're holding Sparks, he is like vibrating.
Shit, I think this guy's like ODing on something. It says I have a doctor's bag.
Okay.
That's interesting. I don't remember having that, but sure.
That could be, you're a bodyguard. You have to patch somebody up. Or carry a gun.
Right. So I think we're just going to have that scene where I'm going to try and hit him with some adrenaline.
Excellent. Usually a response to an opioid, not a response to a
I have no idea what he took. Yeah, I have no idea what he took. Like, unless somebody stops me, like...
Remy!
I'm gonna pause going, oh, clearly he knows what he's doing. And when I see the adrenaline going, he just ate an 8-ball of cocaine. I think he's okay on adrenaline.
Did you say that out loud?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm like, oh, shit, he ate cocaine?
Yes, I didn't expect anyone to eat it, because that's not how you use cocaine, but apparently that's a Kentucky thing.
And so... looking down at Sparks, again, just kind of jittery, but Sparks, you're aware of where you are. What are you doing?
Yeah, man, I know right where we are. We're on this rock. We're hurtling through the space, the great infinite void, and there's stars and spirals and galaxies and clouds and other planets and other species and life everywhere. It's just amazing.
Yodas and shit.
Yeah, Yoders and shit. Yes, I am babbling about the vastness of infinity and the star stuff that we're all made of.
And Mary's kind of leaning down to him, and is going, oh goodness, and she's kind of wiping your brow. You took too much, man. You took too much.
No, I need it all. I need to fit it all inside my skull. Just pack it in there.
And I think I just like grab him off the ground and just rush him over to the great big ice maker, and I just like shove him whole body into the ice.
Excellent, you do, and there's a little bit of a sizzle almost as Sparks goes into it. And also from the ice machine itself, there's this sort of cough and like as the refrigerant busts out of the side of it, putting out smoke. And Sparks, you're kind of, it's a shock, and you're still like buzzing, but it brings you back suddenly.
God damn! Well, what are we doing? We running? Are there aliens? Vampires?
What are you doing?
A robot chick clip back there.
We get in a fight and you just swallow a shit ton of cocaine?
I was doing scientific exponential experimentation.
That was enough for several people, and you don't eat it. And what is wrong with you?
You, a good man, have obviously been doing it wrong.
Shit. I think we might be safe. I don't know if those other chicks are coming for us. Or are they dudes? Or are they chicks? I don't know. I just like go to the door and I'm like peeking out the window.
You peek back out the kitchen door window. Looking around this room, it's a very Spartan kitchen, very small. You get the impression they don't do a lot of cooking at this discotheque. They may have something, they do a banquet for every once in a while. This is just a place to be able to set it up. But there is a back door out of it. And as you look back into the discotheque, you could see the people dancing. It seems like the whole weirdness of that scene. People are just sort of, oh, well, that is all it was. And getting on. But you can see walking straight towards you and locks eyes with you as you're peeking out the window is Rami. She's clearly coming to the kitchen.
Shit. Does Mary know Rami?
Yes. Do you look over? Do you ask her?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. She's coming. Like, do we need to run?
Well, normally I would say no. Normally I would say no, but she's. Wow, that was just crazy. Rami's very sweet. She's a sweet, sweet lady. She and David are very close.
Yeah, well, maybe we just need to have a chat, but with some leverage. And I just like break off one of these valves on a gas line, and pull out my that lighter that was handed to me earlier. And I'm like, let's have a chat with her. But if she tries to give us any business, I'll tell her we'll blow this whole place up.
What is wrong with you Americans?
You can run out the back if you're ready. But I'm having a word with her.
What's wrong with us? We are amazingly effective at everything we do.
And Remy just kind of takes a step back, like he's getting out of the way, but also like getting into firing range in case he needs to, because what is going on?
The door swings open, and Rami steps in, and she's tall. She's, good 5'11". She's in heels, so it's 6'2", and flawless gorgeous. And she comes in, and she sort of looks across the room. There's the ice machine putting out the smoke from the refrigerant. There's the hiss and a broken pipe at her stove. Are you doing redecorating?
We're just having a conversation, all right? And now this whole thing is all fucked up.
Mary, are these friends of yours? And Mary goes, She comes in, lets the door close. Young band, could you turn off that valve before we all asphyxiate?
I gotta know you're not gonna attack any of us. I saw what you did. I saw what your dancers did.
I'm sorry for that. I did not realize that, well, a man blows fire in the face of one of my patrons. I get very upset. I did not realize the people which had caught on fire were not my patrons.
All right, I can dig it. I'll like crank the gas off at the next, cutoff.
She waits a moment and then lights a cigarette. There is maybe that of everyone. As she does, she takes a long drag.
Whew. Man, y'all one of them robot performers?
My bionic queens are the best in Berlin.
So no? Any chance I could look at one of them? I mean, just study. Just a little bit.
I do not know if they would like to be studied.
I'd put them back together.
You are very pretty. They might let you study little. Mary, why did David's family come here? Mary's like, I just came because Tony wanted me. These are friends. These are friends, Romy. They're concerned about David too. Romy looks you over. Let's go somewhere less domestic. I've never been one to be in the kitchen. And she leads you down into the more administrative area. You only know that because there aren't people dancing here, because there's still throw pillows in rooms. You walk by one, there's a bit of the bondage set up in it. She takes you into a room, though, that has a set of the beanbag chairs and one of those plastic inflatable couches. There's mirrors on the wall, and there's a desk there, and behind it there's one of the egg chairs, the nice James Bond egg chairs, which she goes in and sits down, crossing her legs demurely. Please sit. You are here to help David. I am concerned for him. What have you heard?
Probably not a whole lot more than you have. We just got here. I sit down on the couch and it squeaks obnoxiously under my suit.
Remy, do you say anything?
I kind of half sit on the arm of a couch and say, I knew that there were rumors, at least, that there was this red tide cocaine going around, and I got a sample of it, but our friend from Kentucky's sampled a bit too much, and we're seeing the effects now.
Studying.
Yeah, he's studying.
Studying a lot.
I'm interested.
With his mouth.
I'm interested to know a bit, Sparks. Like I say, you are so full of energy, and you can't believe how hot it is in here, and you're just sweating everywhere. I'm gonna have you roll a keep your cool, but I'm gonna steal from Jason Cordova a little here. Of what are you worried is going to happen if you lose your cool?
Well, there's this ice maker here, and there's like refrigerators, and there's the stoves, and it's not like we're in a room full of complicated machinery, but there are some machine bits, and he's really filled with energy and inspiration. So I'm afraid that rather than just like absent-mindedly tinkering with stuff, he's going to start building impossible alien tech sort of things out of like a sieve and the ice maker and a flambe torch.
Gotcha. So as they're moving off down this hallway, you may start gadgeteering in methed out fashion.
Yeah, make something like very obviously not normal and not particularly useful.
I'm going to say where it might be a little worse is you'll build a communication device to try and reach others of your kind.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. If there are other aliens, I mean, if there are any aliens visiting here in Berlin, then it would make sense to try and get in contact with them and have peaceful first contact.
Well, let's have you keep your cool. You think you're doing it with soul through mental fortitude and serenity? Are you just trying to keep it together and doing it like with smooth, using charm and social grace? Are you maybe just powered through it with might?
I think maybe quick thinking and brains and just trying to like hardcore just think himself through every bit of things here and just stay on track and constantly reprimanding himself.
Okay, so I'm Sparks from Kentucky. I'm not Moonlight from Venus. Okay, I got you. You're keeping
a normal human worm, baby.
All right, well, let's roll it.
All right. I have good brains. Slightly impaired at the moment, but that's still an 8.
All right. Well, with an 8, you stumble, hesitate, or flinch. I'm going to offer you one of the infamous 3 there. You're going to be able to keep it together enough that you're not like just gizmoing out. But as you're muttering to yourself, I'm going to give you an option here. You're either going to say something that makes the others something that does not seem human, or you're going to have to do some sort of something that makes you feel more human. So either we'll see something that breaks out a little alien, or you're going to have to do some extreme, what a human would definitely do, humans from the Earth.
I think it's the alien thing, and like as I manage to tear myself away from this, I do manage to follow them down. I'm just like thinking and plotting as we pass like every random bit of metal or machinery or whatever, what I could do if I took it apart and remade it. And I'm definitely talking out loud and normally to them when I'm trying to explain like, oh, we should grab that because I can turn it into a something that explodes or flies or turns purple or whatever. But then when they ignore me or say like, no, we can't, I'm muttering and making notes to myself and sort of cursing them under my breath, like in my thoughts where they can't hear. It's just that my mouth didn't get that message, and it's totally in like super creepy alien.
Ooh, okay. So we're hearing weird, like, alien language sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's a cheesy 70s movie, so it's very like record played backwards sort of noises.
Okay. Well, Remy, you're trained to see unusual, weird things. What do you think when you start hearing that? Would you like to I don't know, investigate or think about it, or are you just ignoring it, or are you filing it away?
I'd like to investigate or think about it. I'm not sure what move has reasonable results for what on earth is this guy on drugs doing now that he's talking backward.
Well,
I assume I'm immediately going whether this is a language I know, and then, okay, what is going on now?
You could scope out a scene to see if you can... Well, let's say scope out a scene may not be the best, but you could certainly give someone the third degree by asking Sparks what the hell this is. Or I could give you... I could say that you could do a free your mind that we would frame as you saying just the right thing to use the drug-addled mind of Sparks to get something out. But I'll then have Sparks be the one who answers rather than the GM.
I'd love to do that, but soul is the one stat I have a negative in. So I have no soul, I have only brains. So I think I'll give someone the third degree, because I might actually succeed at that.
So you're going to go up to Sparks.
Oh no! I could fail and get XP.
There you go!
Sure, I'm going to try to maintain my cover and talk along with this guy who's really having a bad trip. And see what I can get out of him. Using the soul I don't have.
Roll your soulless roll.
That's a 2.
Oh, goodness me. Well, that's an XP. But I'm going to come to you, Sparks. What wrong impression does Remy get out of this?
I'm not sure.
Do you think, my first thought, I'll just throw an assist and you can see if you like it, is that Remy may think it's some foreign language that he doesn't know, or that it's actually some sort of code language. There's a thought.
You're a spy? Only one of us in the party is, and it's you?
Yes, the hottest one was the spy.
Lies and hatred.
Yeah, how about it sounds suspiciously close to like a Russian code that the French Foreign Legion has been trying to crack. We hate Russians right now, don't we?
Oh, we always hate Russians.
Cool.
Apologies to any Russians who happen to be watching tonight.
It's a shame that we hate you.
Except for
especially Russians from Kentucky.
Yes. Okay, so Remy, you hear that, and probably it's very suspicious. But you all get in there with Rami, and she's looking there. As y'all are kind of dealing with that, she's looking at you, Record, saying, "You have worked for David before, haven't you? I've seen your picture."
Yeah, I'm surprised he keeps a picture of me around, but yeah.
He keeps all pictures of him, and sometimes you are in them.
That sounds about right.
I have been very worried about David. He does not come to see Rami as much as he used to. And when he comes, he is not the same. This drug your friend has tried, David tries a lot.
And what's it doing to him?
He says he can hear. He can hear people's hearts. He can hear people's hearts all over the world. He says it's inspiring him. It's making his music better. He even says he can hear people from other worlds' hearts.
Yeah, that sounds like some drugs that he would get up to me. But look, I think the big thing here is those people that he's calling family, What were they?
What they became once you did your pyrotechnics. I have only seen once before. One of them fell, cut face open, and underneath I could see its black, terrible heart and soul. But I had not seen so clearly as when you burned. I do not know who they are. I only know they came from East Berlin. I think from even further east. Perhaps Polish.
I don't think that they're people, if you know what I mean.
I think you are right. I think they use David. They hover around him. Even when he comes to see Rami, he is accompanied by them. They watch him. They touch him. Even when David and I are intimate, they are close. David says they share with him, and he shares with them. I believe they have been taking his blood.
That's a good way to get a disease. Shit.
You must understand, David is very dear to me. I would do anything for him. But he does not let me come to his house. You know, he has an apartment with that Iggy Pop. And with Coco, sweet girl Coco. I do not get invitations to the flat anymore. And he has begun work outside of Berlin. He is recording at Chateau de Herville with Brian Eno and others. I do not get invited to that either. David says he needs his concentration and I am a distraction.
Sounds like we're going to have problems with these people once we want to get David out of here. We can't leave David with them.
I have learned something you may have seen. When I wish to be alone with David, I play the funk.
Yeah, what was that about?
They do not like the funk.
Well, this goes a little bit beyond them not just liking it. I mean, they turned tail and ran.
I believe it is the deep African rhythms that bother them.
What are you two making of all this? Well, at least you, Remy. What are you making of this?
I've never seen someone hate deep African rhythms to quite that extent before.
I bet Sparks has. He's from Kentucky. Sorry.
I am going to kind of look at Sparks like, you clearly know things that aren't about Kentucky. What do you know about hatred of deep African rhythms? Also, how is that trip going?
Sparks does not look like his trip is doing great. He's sort of backed up away from this conversation and is slightly hiding behind some of the furniture as the conversation had turned to rather disturbing subjects, like the strange monsters from outer space, and how we don't appreciate visitors coming to our planet, and the horrible things it will do to them, and how evil they are for twisting David Bowie, and all of this sort of alien hunter stuff that I'm not a big fan of.
Aliens from Warsaw.
Yes, a Russian spy would be very comfortable. We're talking about rooting out the aliens from, east of
Very
Germany.
east.
Mm-hmm.
Look over the edge of the couch where you're like hiding behind it. I'm just like, hey, you gonna be all right?
She's gonna send her robots after me. They're coming for me.
Hey, you just all right? You need to chill out, all right?
I don't need to chill out, man. I need to get out of here. This is a bad scene. Like they're gonna find me. They're gonna know who I am.
Hey, just play with that shag carpet or something, all right? Just give us another minute.
Yes. Maybe I can make a death ray out of it.
Remy was totally gonna go for give him the third degree here, but he might be busy making a death ray out of the shag carpet, so I don't know.
Would you like to give the third degree?
I'd love to, if I can, before... or if, like, Rummy wants to go do awesome things, then I'm not going to tell her to stop. But...
go right ahead. Let's have you do that third degree. And as with most games, there's a certain amount of agency in this for a player character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I assume it just informs how useful the answers I get are. Mm-hmm. I only got a 9, so the answer is only kind of useful, probably.
Well, you get one question.
Ooh, do I have a move that gives me something else? Nope, not in Let. So, when you successfully convince someone to share an advice, you roll something extra when dealing with them. If I gave him an 8-ball of cocaine and he ate it, does that count?
Does that sound like it did, Sparks? Yes. All right.
Yeah, I think so.
In that case, I get to ask 2 questions.
Excellent.
So... Sorry, I'm looking at the list of questions, figuring out how I can warp them to make Sparks tell me all about his being a Russian spy. I guess, what does your character intend to do once you come down from this trip and once again have agency to do something besides whatever it is you're doing to the carpet?
I think in all of his like in and out mutterings and pulling little bits of metal and wire and stuff out of his pocket and starting to like haphazardly thread and tie things together, I think he's muttering about like he's I gotta find that family. I gotta make contact with them. Bowie, he knows where they are, and I can find them, and I can contact them. Very much want to go. Like I am obsessively thinking about how to go find those weird not vampires.
All right, and a second question.
How could I get your character to fess up about what you really are?
Ooh, is that possible? Is there something that could do that, Sparks?
Equally content with whatever answer I get, because it's going to be weird, I'm pretty sure.
Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if there's the one thing you could do for that, but I'll say, like, if you want to start building up his trust and get him to the... Can you all hear?
You're skipping a trifle.
I froze.
Can you hear us? Or you?
Oh, okay, there we go. I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah, you skipped a bit.
Everything just went wonky. Sorry, I was saying I don't think there's like one move that could get you to that would get him to open up and spill all the alienness stuff, but I think if you wanted to start like getting him to open up and getting closer and him trusting you, he's still staring over the couch at Rami and back over his shoulder at where all the people in the club were, saying, she's out to get me. You gotta help me. You gotta protect me from her. You gotta get me away from her, or she'll find out about me.
Yeah, and we see Remy kind of give him an awkward there sort of pat, like, it's okay. I won't let Remy get to you. You're safe back here behind the sofa and kind of
That's
back
right.
to the rest of the room.
You're a good friend / stranger that I just met about 15 minutes ago. I feel like I can trust you.
That adequately summarizes our relationship, yes.
All right. Rummy, of course, has been kind of focused on Wrecker and Mary more than what's going on back there. But hearing kind of the bit of talk, she will look at you, Wrecker, and say, "Your friend has done too much. You should watch out for him. From what I understand, the red tide has very unusual effects. It's not just the regular cocaine." I have David's launch of some of his music at the club in 2 nights. His family will certainly come. They'd let him go nowhere alone. I also can give you the address to his flat and to the chateau. I don't know if they will let you in. It used to be people go up and down into flat all the time. It was like open party. Now it is not the same. Other than that, I can tell you only that these people around him, they are doing something very bad. I have seen scars on his arm, scars on his neck. He says they want his life essence, that it helps them, and in return, they give him the tide. He is too talented to need these things. He does not need tide to become great. He's forgotten that. Wrecker, you say anything?
No, I don't think so. I just kind of lean back in the squeaky sofa.
The one of the Diamond Dog girls comes back in, and Rami looks up. Anita has been sent to the hospital. And you could tell when she says it, hospital probably isn't really where she was at. The hospital sort of thing. She's going to need attention. Rami goes, "I will come to the hospital myself." And she stands up from behind her desk. "If there is anything I can do to help you, Mary, tell Tony that I too am concerned. This must be stopped." Mary's like, "Oh, thank you." And she looks at the rest of you. "I am here at your service. Chez Rami can be a second home. We will protect you. The funk is very strong here. Now, if you will excuse me, one of my girls," she kind of looks at you, Wrecker, "has hurt herself. I must attend to her." And she'll stand up and head on out unless someone has any further question for her. And if not, the 4 of you, Mary, are left there. It's now that you're noticing that Dietrich is not with you.
Oh, well, thank God she's gone. I did not trust her, not one bit. She seemed shady. She seemed like she was going to turn us into evil government agents who aren't chasing us. No one's chasing us. No one's chasing any of us, especially not evil government agents. Why'd you bring them up, Remy?
Man, chill.
This is why you don't do it all at once. But didn't we have someone else with you? Sunglasses, long hair.
Right. Oh, shit.
I thought he was with you.
When did we lose him? When I pushed everyone in the kitchen?
Maybe? You didn't light him on fire, did you?
No, I didn't.
That would be so awkward.
He was behind me when all that happened. Like, go back to like the main area of the club and like I'm like looking around for him.
You can do a scope out the scene.
Okay. Sweet, 12.
Oh, excellent. You're going to get 3 questions on there, but you keep in mind you can ask additional or different questions on that.
Okay.
So, as you're looking through here, I'll say first off, looking across this room, you do not see Dietrich.
Okay. And scope the scene.
And again, you can kind of broaden it out, like you can ask people stuff, and you can have different questions that you want answered.
Yeah, I think I'm asking people around here, like what they saw, like, and did they see this guy leave? And I want to know who knows more than they're letting on.
Okay. You as you're kind of circulating through, and folks, they saw you do this. They kind of have that. You get that feel like they sort of think it was a show, and so they're, oh, that was very cool. That was so cool. And they're, as you're asking about Dietrich, most of them didn't notice him, but you do get one person who says, "Yes, he went running out after those 2 men." But as you kind of go towards the door and ask one of the bouncers, he's like, yeah, I saw him leave. He seems to not be telling you everything.
The bouncer?
Yeah.
And
you got 2 more questions on there you can kind of angle around.
Yeah. How, like, can I just ask like different questions?
Certainly.
How can I get this guy to talk?
You can tell when you ask the question that he's stonewalling you, and you get that impression. Maybe you could, bribe him or something like that, or threaten him. But he's hedging because he saw something that, would be bad for the club, is what you think. Okay. Kind of in that idea. So if you can make him not think that it's going to come down on his job in the club, that's probably the way to work.
Yeah. All right. Last question. Is there anything hidden here?
As you kind of are walking away, you took his answer, you knew something's funky, you kind of walked towards the parking lot. You can see, as you're moving kind of out there between the cars, you see his tape recorder. He has a little reporter's tape recorder. You see it laying there on the asphalt, and there are 2 very clear burnout marks of a car leaving.
Okay. I pick up the recorder and take that, and I walk back to the bouncer, and I just like pull out a 20, like I'm like, hey, I'm not from around here. there's no way this is going to get back to anyone. You know, not trying to start an international incident or anything. I just need to know where my friend went. I'm sure you understand. And like, I just like put the 20 like on his book of names or whatever.
I'm going to give an option here. If you want to, I think that bribe works. I think he's going to give you your info. If you'd like to go to the role of getting what you want, you can. That kind of has that double-edged thing of it'll get a roll in for you, one way or the other. But there's some, some play with that. It's up to you.
You mean like instead of bribing him? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it would be instead of immediately doing the bribe, you could do the smooth, getting what you want.
Yeah, I'll try that. Sure.
Okay.
Seven.
Okay. They do what you want and pick one. You can choose for them to act immediately. They do not demand payment. They perform especially well. They're happy with the bargain, keeping in mind that whichever ones you don't choose.
Sure. I mean, let's just go for the obvious and I don't have to pay him.
Okay. He goes, look, I don't want any trouble for the club. If it got around, look, he came chasing after some guys who were running. That's a bad idea. I saw them. They were fucked up. That was your work, right? And, well, he went off calling to them. It was like I don't know. It was like he was trying to get them to answer some questions. But they ran back to a car. When they got to the car, two more of them jumped out. They grabbed him. They threw him in the car. They took off. Now, if people knew that folks were getting snatched from the club, and he caused it himself. He shouldn't have been chasing them. He shouldn't have been chasing them.
Yeah, well, you don't need to worry about whose fault any of this was, all right? We'll just keep it between ourselves.
Well, I know the car. It's Iggy's Cadillac. Just don't get me in trouble, man. Just don't get me in trouble.
No one's going to hear about this. No problem, all right? Be cool.
All right. And so, with that information, and we're hitting 9:30, I think we're going to take our 5-minute break, and then we'll decide where our crew heads out from here. All right?
Can I do
Yes.
something real quick?
Certainly.
I think while Wrecker is out, questioning bouncers and looking through the club, I pull Remy aside away from Mary. Is that her name?
Mm.
Away from Mary and sort of talk to him in private for a moment. And I'm still very jittery and shaky and looking very paranoid from side to side. But I'm like, hey man, I just wanted to say thank you for helping me get that Rami girl's attention off of us. She seemed like, I don't know, she seemed like a narc or someone connected with the cops or something. And I don't know, I just get this feeling like I can trust you. I know you would never turn on me. So I appreciate you getting rid of her, because I can't really get into it right now, but if I'm being totally honest, I'm not really originally from Kentucky. That may not be entirely true, but it's not like I'm bad or anything. It's just, it's complicated. We'll get into it later, but I appreciate you, man. You really watched out for me.
Oh, yes, your secret's very safe with me, Remy says, and his French accent is showing through thicker than it needs to, because he's trying to be so unimposing.
Excellent. All right, then. Let's take 5 minutes, and we'll come back at 9:31. All righty. I like my bionic diamond dogs. I like Rami.
They're fun. I can't remember, but I think my accent is migrated this time.
You still managed to pull it out there, but it's a bit more Alabama than Kentucky, maybe. It's a deep drawl.
Yeah. I have a hard time hearing Southern accents.
I mean, it sounds exactly like someone who's an alien who's Russian who thinks that Kentucky is a place might sound like. But I don't distinguish well enough between them anyway, so no clue.
I was playing something the other day, and the character had a Southern accent, and I kept flubbing it up. I kept going New York with it. And I am about as Southern as a person gets. So it was I was like, hang on, guys. Sorry, I need to stop and just talk like me a minute so I can get my accent back.
Yeah, I don't know. There are particular brands of like really trailer park backwoods trash accents and like full of themselves coastal Charleston Savannah accents that I can sort of hear, but for the rest of the general mix of Southern accents, it all sort of sounds the same to me. They just sounds like talking. Texans
have a bit of a different accent. I mean, mine is heavy Southern, but it's, I'm close to that redneck end of Southern is a bit of where my accent comes in. But I could do that Charleston sort of thing where you get more in here. And I could do a little bit of the Colonel Sanders set. But I think your Kentucky's doing fine.
Yeah, you're doing good. It's solid.
Now I want a game where Tyler has to talk like Colonel Sanders the whole time.
Oh my god. Were we all in that game of Beast of Sucker Creek? No.
I wanted to be, but I couldn't make it.
It was like a year and a half ago. I thought that was.
I wasn't even aware of the Gauntlet.
I thought that we had played that together. I guess not. Like we were all doing outrageous like backwoods accents.
My first game at Gauntlet, I played Dog, and I had Bo, my very Southern. Oh my gracious sakes alive! That's just terrible. So sort of Southern guy. That's kind of my Colonel Sanders. Oh, all them fried chickens. Oh, we got to get some of them.
Oh yeah.
I don't do accents because I'm not very good at them, and where people think I'm from varies wildly just on my own talking, so I don't know what I sound like to begin with. Who knows?
You have that nice, stable, Midwestern, perfect American.
I've never heard that before. I've heard New York, definitely Canada, and whoa, you're the Swedish one, aren't you? And yeah.
I definitely don't see Sweden.
I don't hear the Swedish. I hear more northern than Midwestern, though.
Most of my family sounds very Midlands, but I think I lost most of that, so don't know.
If you were going to have like a Sprite or a Coke, what would you call that? Just in
That's
generic
soda,
terms.
but in
Soda.
Alaska, those terms are weird because most people aren't from here, so expect a fist fight.
Yeah. If you say soda, that makes me think more north than Midwest.
Yeah, if you take those where your dialect is from quizzes, I come out Midwest, Pacific Northwest with a thick Midland streak, so sort of family makeup.
If you say a pop, then you Northeast.
Yeah. What do you call a long sandwich on bread? Like, what would you call that?
Subway? Like the store? We don't do those here. Yeah, those don't exist outside of Subway stores here, so I have no term for them.
It's a sub.
It's a sub sandwich, but you don't call it a
It's
grinder.
a long sandwich.
Yeah, you don't call it
a grinder if the store
some
calls it a grinder. So I've used multiple words for them because they only exist on like specific restaurant menus. Some places they're Grinders. Most places they're just Subway.
Who happen to move to Alaska and make that sandwich there?
You call it a Subway. That's funny. I would like a Pizza Hut.
We have those.
On the drink question, though, I think I end up on the most idiosyncratic scale because any sort of carbonated drink is a Coke because I'm from
You're
Atlanta.
so wrong. Why are you so wrong?
I'm from Atlanta, where Coke comes from.
Yeah, we all just call it Coke. Like, no, it doesn't matter what you wanted. So you want a Coke to drink? Yeah, I'll have a Dr. Pepper.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one of those that I can't roll with because I'm like, what are you even talking about? It's a ginger ale. You're so wrong.
All right, to do us a little bit of a where we are. We have heard, Rami's told you that if you want to hang out, hide out, use Chez Rami as a place of safety. She offered that up. Now, some different opinions on how safe that is amongst the party. We know that Dietrich apparently was snatched by some of the family using Iggy Pop's Cadillac. He has a black Cadillac, by the way. We know that David spends his time either at the flat, which I can give you the German name of where that flat is.
Is that Iggy's flat?
David and Iggy both have they live together. And the place was 155 Hofstrasse, Schroensberg in Berlin. And it's quite famous. They, when Bowie died, they did a huge tribute there. But they lived together. And then eventually David said, Iggy, you're bugging me. Get your own place. So he moved across the hall. And they live in this flat in this pretty much, it's almost like a boarding house, but it's, one person owned it and let out flats in it. And right now, Iggy lives with his Vietnamese girlfriend who they don't share a common language. And David lives with Coco, who is his longtime assistant, and which we heard Angela Bowie talking about. She thinks he's been fucking her for years. But they live together there. And it was a party house. For ages, people would just be able to go. And that's stuff certainly, Remy, you would know about. That, that back in the day, anyone could just go and kind of hang out with them. Now it's been closed off. The family doesn't let people in. He splits his time between that and that Chateau de Hornsberg. Is that right? No, I think that's not right. But the Chateau de Hourville, which we had heard is the place that they're writing and recording. It's also said to be haunted by Chopin's ghost. And we'd heard, somebody had told, at least someone, and I like the idea of fairly open information at a table, that Brian Eno was saying he could hear Chopin giving him inspiration, but everybody agrees Brian Eno is crazy. So we know that's kind of where he's splitting his time. He does occasionally go out, but always with the family. That's what Rami was giving the implication of. We also, we have Mary there, who is saying that she and Tony, very interested, want y'all to do this. And before she leaves, because I think we're gonna do a scene break and decide what we're doing from here. And she's going to leave you. She's going to say, look, Tony's willing to pay you, and I would really appreciate it. I have these. Tony asked me to give you. And she brings out a small manila envelope. You can hear the rattle of keys. She says, this can get you into the chateau. It's all the keys to the outside doors. There's also a paper with the code at the gate. But, and she looks over at you, Wrecker. She says, he always has protection, but the family's been keeping an eye on the grounds as well. But I guess she calls him Tony too, but Messia will definitely be with David, no matter where. I think Messia is pretty concerned about David as well. But he'll definitely be with him, no matter where you find him. If you need anything, you can call here. It's Tony and I's service. They'll get in touch with us, and if you leave a number, we'll call you back. And she will move over. She has a little pink Mercedes that drop top that she gets into. And as she is leaving, she'll kind of take your hand, Wrecker, and pull you a little to the side and lean in real close. And she is pretty. Wrecker, you saved me back there. I don't know what they'd have done if they took me.
Job's not done yet. They took our friend. I gotta get him back.
She'll reach up and she'll kind of touch your scar and run her hand down it. I knew when Tony said you were coming, you'd get it all fixed. You're the best, Wrecker. And she'll move back and get into the car. Drive off. So now let's decide, what would you three like to do? Do you, at the moment, you've come straight from your various places. There's a truck sitting in a parking lot that, you know, is still getting the smell of fish out of the tailgate, I suppose. There is, other than that particular vehicle, I don't think any of you have vehicles. Remy, I don't know if you'd set up a place to stay.
I have my pickup truck.
That's the truck I was talking about that smells like fish.
Sort of like it just drove across an ocean or something.
Right.
That's bizarre.
What?
That never
That's
happened.
insane. Stop saying things like that.
Has it got U.S. plates on it?
Well, yeah, that's where it's registered.
And a squid in the grill.
Yeah, so I don't know if having local lodgings or something is a thing I'd have to buy, or if I can just say it. But I think
we can play this in the narrative.
Cool. I think he probably got set up with like really bare bones, room to crash at sort of thing. So he has an address, but it's not awesome.
All right.
Before we leave the club, I'm going to pop back inside for just 1 sec.
Okay.
I can tell you what I did, or we can find out later what I did. I don't care.
Well, which would you prefer?
I think it's going to be more interesting if we find out later what I did.
Cool. All right. Don't forget it, because I don't know what it is. So.
I like the reveal.
Okay, cool. All right. So, Remy, are you offering up your place as somewhere y'all can go from here? Or does someone else say something?
Sure,
Remy?
if we need to. Unless we want to immediately hair off on one of these quest threads we have.
We can regroup. Do you, Sparks, do you offer up your truck? Like, do you acknowledge that is your truck? That we can drive away from here?
Right, it's got to be here. You drove it to get here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's definitely my truck here. Where you got some place to stay? I was just sleeping in the cab.
Oh, is it a pickup, or tell me it's an 18-wheeler cab?
Oh, it was a pickup truck.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to get a little Smokey and the Bandit, BJ and the Bear moment. Okay, so it's a pickup.
How did you get your truck here?
Well, by driving. There's streets, you see, that run up to the club.
No.
Across the Pacific Ocean.
Pacific.
The Atlantic. I know where oceans are. I live on the Pacific, okay? The Atlantic doesn't matter.
Those Alaskans, they drove the long way. The Russian route.
Well,
Obviously, he's from Russia.
What do you mean? There's There's boats.
You came on a boat. Damn.
That would make the most sense.
That's hardcore. That must have taken weeks. I'm surprised you do all that just to have your truck here. You know you can rent cars, right?
I feel really attached to it.
All right. Well, yeah. Are you licensed? Doesn't matter. You can drive us.
All right, y'all hop in. Somebody gets to be Lucky Pierre, I'm guessing the Frenchman, as you slide into the seats. And what is the song that comes on from the 8-track deck in your truck there, Sparks?
I mean, it's definitely Space Oddity, isn't it?
Oh, excellent, excellent. Right, you worked on the tour. And so we get a little Space Odyssey as y'all are taking this very incongruous pickup truck down through the streets.
It's very loud.
And driving over towards Remy's apartment. You get there. It is, as you say, fairly bare bones. You have a chance here to kind of regroup and talk amongst yourselves of what you'd like to do next and maybe get a little rest. Sparks, you are, despite the vast amount of the drug you did, it's sort of, you've really metabolized it extremely quickly. And as you're driving, you're kind of getting that, like your arms seem a little heavy, you're coming down from this. But it still has that very familiar extraterrestrial feel about it. It's just the stars have stopped singing at you, and that energy is starting to drop off.
It's the problems of pursuing a drug habit while having a regeneration trait. It's just, you get over stuff really quickly. But I think when we get there, I'd like to start like tinkering on stuff. Maybe grab like a radio, like a wireless radio, and start tearing it open and trying to mess with it and get some sort of like alien detector going.
Yeah, and you can see Remy go after it. Fine. The radio's gone now.
It's
otherwise
fine.
make yourselves
I'll put it
at home.
How it was later. It's you won't even notice.
What, is this your place? Like, you've been staying here a long time?
Not very long. I'm just in town for Bowie being in town.
Then what's it matter if we use your stuff? It's not your stuff, right? You just rented it?
Yes, but, it's a little hard to explain my radio being in pieces all over the floor. I mean, I guess that can happen, but...
What, you afraid of the roof?
I don't have spares of anything.
Well, you're afraid somebody's going to come in here and see it?
We are past that point.
You don't put a little hanger on the door, Hey, no maid service, whatever. Yeah, that's a thing here too, right? I don't know. Where are you from?
And the French accent comes out super thickly as he's like, I'll give you a guess.
Out of curiosity, is it that Parisian accent, or do you have a more provincial accent?
Normally, when he's letting it slip, it's Parisian, but this is a super thick provincial accent.
Louisiana? Canada? I don't know.
Remy just turns and walks away to go see what's going on with this radio.
All right. Sparks, what? I believe you get a roll to fiddle, don't you?
Yeah.
You're skipping.
I mean, the radio's in pieces. It can't convey sparks right now.
I guess so. I know it's not the internet because we're on the same one. Patrick, are you back with us, dear? Are you back, dear?
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
We can.
Cool. I can. I can't do anything. If someone could read my move to me, that'd be helpful.
Oh, is your computer acting up?
Yeah, I can't. I can't make it do anything.
Oh, goodness. Alrighty. Well, I'll look over your rap sheet real quick. And you're doing your not of this world or custom job, I believe.
Yes. There we go.
Or is it cutting edge? When you've thoroughly examined the required detail.
It's custom job.
Okay. So, when you take time to tinker with a piece of normal equipment, spend one supply from a repair kit, or do one of the following.
And do one of the following.
And do one of the following. Are you seeing it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. I was sort of going for adding a trait to it, if possible.
Okay.
Of something like extraterrestrial transmissions or something like that, where it's picking up on different radio signals than just normal airplay radio.
Okay.
That's oh, that's not a roll. That's just a spend.
No, it's not a roll. It's a straight up.
So I'll spend one of my supply.
Okay. As you begin turning these dials, and Remy, you said you were there watching this, right? You begin hearing a lot of different transmissions as Sparks is playing through these dials. You would swear you're hearing Chinese in some of these things as he skips through. Russian, Polish, Italian. There's some English. Probably somewhere South American, Spanish coming through, or we'll say Portuguese. We'll say it's Brazil you're hearing. But I mean, it's just all these different things until it kind of hits this staticky bit. And then there's just a boom, 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 boom. You definitely recognize that this is coming from something off planet, Sparks. With your knowledge, you would guess probably a satellite. 77, there aren't a lot of satellites up there. But as you key into the ping, 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 there's a break in that ping, and you just hear 3 words in Russian. Do you speak Russian, Sparks? You're muted, my love.
I don't have a particular move for it, but
the question would be, do you think you picked up then Russian? Because I think Remy probably knows Russian. And it's the two of you listening.
I don't know. I sort of like the alien thing of like all these Earth languages are easy sort of thing.
You got a babble fish or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can live with that. And so the two of you, as this thing, we hear these 3 words. Agents hurt. Resupply.
I'm gonna look nervously up towards Remy.
I'm looking like, what? I don't speak Russian. These are words.
Yeah, that's some funny fern words there that they're using. I didn't understand not one of them.
Hey, what
are
they say?
You doing?
Yeah, Record's asking.
I don't know. I think though I managed to key into some secret high-tech communications equipment that's going on in the city, above and beyond your normal sort of everyday rock and roll radio station sort of noise. This is something special, and they're talking an unidentifiable foreign language.
Ping, ping, ping. You hear something in Polish. I think we've established that you recognize Polish there, Sparks. What do you think, Remy? Did you pick up Polish as well?
I think I probably, after a bit of it, could figure out that it's Polish, but I don't speak it myself.
All right. Supplies in transit in Polish. Ping, ping, ping. A few moments later, a German voice, and all of you we're going to say. We're gonna play out that all of you can understand a bit of German. We await resupply.
Resupply.
Hey, were they talking about supplies?
Something about supplies.
Resupplying, not just supplies.
Oh, but supplies again. That's much more sinister.
So, here we are in the flat. I don't want to interrupt. Y'all could certainly talk amongst yourselves for a bit here. Do we think we're going to rest for the evening? I mean, there were a lot of adrenaline in the club. We have some jet lag from some folks and maybe some truck sea lag, who knows. But are we thinking we're going to stay here the evening, or are y'all heading out somewhere tonight? What do you think? What do you think, Remy?
I think Remy's pretty ready to go because, that just happened. I don't need a nap from babysitting someone's bad trip. I can do that whenever.
Okay.
But we'll turn to the room and say, so are we going to do something else or just listen to whatever radio?
I mean, I'll be ready to go here in a few hours, but are you any good with stitching?
Stitching? I could do a little.
I'm like taking off my coat and taking off like my overshirt, and like you can see the blood through my undershirt. Like I got slashed.
Mm-hmm.
Curses, I nearly took that move where you're suspiciously good at stitching.
Oh shit, man. That's wow, that's deep. What got you?
I didn't get me too bad, but I don't think I'm up to just running around right now. I need a minute at least. Plus, we need to come up with a plan. How are we going to deal with these fools?
No, that's give me just a minute. I'll gather some supplies. I've worked on livestock back on the farm. Yep, I'll just stitch you up and it'll be fine.
Man, your redneck ass is just going to try and duct tape me.
Putting the duct tape slowly back in the box. No, man. No.
So are you gonna start stitching him up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say that Remy might normally jump in here because he knows he's got military experience. He can stitch a person. But also, we've got a Russian spy. He probably has military experience. He can stitch people.
Well, we'll see. Why don't you roll a keep your cool as you attempt to stitch up a person, which I'm betting, Smart, you do not do very often.
Hey, I'm back.
Ugh.
Yeah, this is getting fun.
Do you think you should drop and rejoin?
No. I can maybe try.
You are definitely skipping
Or
here.
maybe yes. I guess I can try.
All right.
I'll blame the cat in the background doing wizarding moves.
Like I say, I know it's not the internet, or otherwise we both would be doing it.
It's got to be a wizard cat.
It's wizard cats. They're infamously terrible about it. We'll see how well he stitches you up, but I'll go ahead and ask. What are you two thinking of where to go? I don't like just opening up to the table generally, but there's only two of you. So what do y'all want to discuss of where this next spot to go is? Got some leads.
Well, it seems like they all lead to the same place. Like Iggy and Bowie's like places where we need to go.
What you think, Remy?
That sounds fair, because my first thought was that we should probably try to figure out where Dietrich is being abducted to, but clearly everything does hinge upon those two apartments, so...
Yeah, I mean, they were driving Iggy's car, so I guess they could have stashed him somewhere else, but we'd never be able to find it anyways.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that sounds cool then. So, looks like we might be heading that direction. And hopefully Patrick will be back with us for a second. Heck, while we're waiting for him to come back, I'll post up and we can all take a moment here. You know, I know it's only been 30, but we'll take a moment here. And I'm going to post up a little song that we can listen to as interlude music, and we'll take a 5, and I'll go see if hopefully Patrick's computer's working. But here's that. Y'all listen to it, grab a drink, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. Can you hear us, Patrick?
I can.
Excellent. All right. Well, we had a little Bowie interlude, which is from the album Low, which a good song off that. It's actually a pretty good album. I think I like some other Bowie albums better, but it's a good album.
It's a good playlist you put together there.
Oh, thank you. All right. So we, while you were kind of gone there, Patrick, the other two were thinking that all trails seem to lead towards the Bowie and Iggy's flat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, everybody keeps talking about it as a party flat, and it's not like parties happen in the morning.
That's very true. And so, if y'all wish, you can certainly head out from here. It's 1 or 2 in the morning at this point. Probably not a problem. And so you through Berlin. Any sort of precautions, any sort of things? I know some of you are armed, but anything you're going to do as you're heading over? If not?
Think like I'll get like a box of booze, ostensibly to be ready for the party. But when you look closely, you'll notice that there are socks stuffed into all of the tops of them. Just a nice case of Molotov cocktails, because apparently the family doesn't like fire.
World of Darkness and so many other vampire things are like, you know, fire's bad for vampires. I've never known anyone it's particularly great for. But
I mean, it's zombies are kind of ambivalent toward it, I guess, because they're still dead and they're just going to set other shit on fire. So
you driving through the streets, the pickup truck, the lights of Berlin. It is a city divided, so there is that sort of paranoia about the entire place. As you're going through, people, there are revelers still up, even, you know, it's Berlin. It's a city that never sleeps, that are still around. But there's that kind of franticness of, you know, life in Berlin on the west side is very much a city that dances and revels to not cry, because they're surrounded by enemies, and you know, it's an occupied city still. So there's this kind of wild freneticness to the revelry. And so as you're passing through, you're hearing the sounds of music and people until you kind of move out of where there are so many folks and moving into these rows and rows of brownstone type apartments and flats. Following the directions to get there, though, you turn into a place that is clearly a more alternative, more avant-garde sort of area, because you start seeing people again, and they're milling together on the sidewalks. You see people playing music and drinking on the sidewalks. Even if you have the windows rolled up, the smell of pot is all over these streets. And they're dressed in that kind of, some of them are the holdovers of the 60s. Some of them are very much that beginnings and of punk. It's just a very wide, broad scope of people as you're driving through. And as you get close to number 155, the street grows more narrow to where it's only one lane. You know, there's cars parked on either side, so it's really narrow going between them. And as you pull up, you can see there's a bit of party going on the street. It's not loud, but there are definitely people around as you pull up in front of it. It looks very normal, you know, oddly normal, knowing that Iggy Pop and David Bowie are living there. Out front, you could see there are people milling, maybe a dozen, that are outside, and they're smoking, and they're playing on a guitar, and some of them are making out, and there's revelry kind of going on.
Have the multilingual transmissions continued this whole time?
You did take your thing with you, and it did the ping, ping, ping thing pretty much the whole time until you heard a voice in German go, "Resupply has arrived. We shall be reconstructing the, not identities, covers. We shall be reconstructing the covers of the damaged agents."
You said this one was in German?
German.
Definitely, like, shifty side eyes and glances at Remy the whole time of like, I mean, this is nothing. I said I'd talk about it later.
All right. You park there in front. You can kind of pull up to the sidewalk and get on top of it. Like I say, there's people out front, but you also can see there is a guy standing at the door who is not amongst them, not amongst the people partying and making out and drinking and smoking. He's standing there in his long black trench coat, his black turtleneck, and his black jeans, and his combat boots, with his spiky blonde hair and his black shades, right in front of the door. If you didn't notice like little slight bits of build, he would look almost identical to those two guys who came in and hassled you at the club. Wrecker, what do you say as you get up there, or to your comrades?
Well, anyone think they can talk their way past him?
I can try.
All right. You take lead. See what you got.
Well, you're certainly dressed for the part, Remy. Y'all get out of the pickup truck and been moving across. Remy, you've staked this place out before. Staked it out is, you've hung out with these people around here, right? So a couple of them, "Hey, Remy, you want to hit?"
And sure. I'll walk over, chat a bit, probably take a hit of something, just kind of blending in. I'm totally a groupie. I love these bands.
Well, they pass you a joint, and since the other two of you come up behind Remy, they'll hand a bottle off. The joint gets passed over in y'all's direction too. Up on the stair. Now, are you particularly trying to avoid being noticed by guy at the door, or are you just moving on
I'm making a move there, but trying to establish as the guy. I mean, if the guy notices me, which if he doesn't, that's awesome, that I belong here, and he's the weird one for not knowing who I am.
Okay. Then sort of obliquely moving there through all the folks, do you wish to try and y'all want to talk a little with the folks outside, or are you just going to try and make your way kind of slow and steady up to the door? And Remy, this is sort of in your wheelhouse, so what you think?
I will. I'll ask if they've seen a friend of mine who came earlier. We were supposed to meet up, but, phones here aren't great. And kind of describe Dietrich.
Okay. Sound like you're doing something like a give someone the third degree. I know that sounds a little harsh, but it's more of, you're trying to get information out of somebody.
That works.
Okay. Well, why don't we roll a brains as you're asking, you seen this person come in?
Wait here. Roll for your party. Don't kick me out.
Okay.
There we go. Now it's letting me see the room. That's 6. Oh, wait. No, if I share a vice with them, then I get bonuses.
And you certainly have.
So I get to roll with something extra. That's just an extra die, right?
Yep, taking the best 2.
So that's a 7. And I get an extra question.
Oh, cool. All right, then. So you've asked, have you seen this? And a couple of them go, well, no, nobody can go in. David doesn't let anybody party with him anymore. We're out here making music for David, but he doesn't want to party. We've seen Iggy. Iggy comes to the window, and he'll sing to us.
Not even Iggy wants to party?
Iggy looks pretty fucked up. But yeah, he just comes to the window and he starts screaming out songs.
And I think that uses up all the questions I'm allowed, then, if the first one counted as a question. So.
Well, you have 2, right? No, the first one was me delivering.
Oh, okay. Yay!
Right.
See, how can I warp these questions to do what I want?
That is the thing with 77. You got to warp them a bit.
I guess, how could I get your character to help me get past security? Because clearly we want the same thing. We want to get in and we want to party.
That's a great question. It seems wrong that they haven't let any of us come in so long. They can't stop us all. If somebody draw him off, the rest of us would go charge in.
And
that might be a party.
Yeah, that might be just what David and Iggy need. They're clearly all cooped up and alone, and that can't be good for them.
So. No, everything Iggy's singing is just awful.
All
right.
So I'm going to look toward Wrecker, who seems to be one of the more notable of us, or also Sparks, who's pretty dang weird, and be like, so we need a distraction to get this mob past security.
I'm like holding the box full of booze. I like look at Sparks. Got anything?
I don't know. I'll start tuning the radio, and maybe I can find some like funk station that's playing some Parliament or something right now. That when we get close, like I can sort of turn it up.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, excellent.
Do you tell us what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I start turning knobs. I'm like, now I know I heard a pirate radio station on the way past the English Channel.
What are you looking for?
I'm just no. There's just they said all Parliament all the time. I'm looking for a good bass line.
Here, and I hand the box to Remy, and I reach in my pocket and I pull out that tape recorder, and I play it, and it's the freaking club music that I went back and recorded.
Oh, that's so very good.
So yeah, I'm just like fumbling and finding all these radio stations like classical, and then it's like bop, and then sort of like all these different like Latin stations. Oh, I know it was here. You just come out with that.
And the funk starts rolling in. Are we saying that the radio you've got's even picking it up and like blasting it out, so we're getting the full effect of it all?
Oh yeah, if you give me a minute there, I can pull out some wires and tie some things up, and then ring, and it sort of like feedbacks and then comes out loud.
I love it. I was gonna have you roll under keep your cool, but I think that hits the narrative perfectly as we hear Bootsy Collins go, ah, yeah, boom, 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 and the funk starts rolling. The folks outside start, yeah, they're cheering as we see that guy up at the door. The funk, it's das funk, and he turns around, he opens up the door, he goes running in, leaving the door open.
Yeah, people, it's party time.
All right. The folks seeing the door open, they begin moving through, and they're bringing their own booze. They've got pot. It's hopping. Are you handing out, Wrecker, a bottle or two, pulling your sock out as you hand them?
Yeah, I think I do that with 2 of them, and then just for like added extra distraction, like I pick out what looks like a goon's vehicle and I toss one that's lit at it.
Oh, hell, yes. Poof. There's the Molotov that hits that one of the goons' Mercedes. It flares up, and there's a crowd moving in. And as I'm guessing y'all are following with the funk carrying through. You see folks just now fanning out. And on this bottom floor, at the back of the place, you see an old German woman stick her head up. You rock and rollers! You make so much noise! Slam! But everybody's heading upstairs because they know that's where Bowie and Iggy are. And y'all are following along behind the funk carrying through. You get up to that landing, and folks are opening up doors. As you trail along behind, you hear in the flat that, people, and Remy, you know already the floor plan for this. You've been studying that for months now. They've opened up Iggy's apartment. David's is down a bit and still closed. You see people actually over next to it, and they're playing and they're singing, but as they haven't kicked in the door, and it seems to be locked. So we're still at the not kicking in the door to get there stage. But a lot of people are around y'all. There's 40, 50 folks that have moved up here. But from that door with Iggy, you hear Iggy's voice. Ah, yeah! And he's just, you can hear him reveling amongst these folks. He's very excited. You also hear a woman's voice speaking in Vietnamese, which I don't know if, well, actually, we know Babelfish recognizes. I was going to say, though, I know, Remy, you know Vietnamese, because this is the time of the Vietnam War, and France, of course, owned Vietnam at the time that caused the whole war. So, you know Vietnamese, as we hear, oh, get off of my couch! Stop that! Iggy, get them out! Why are you singing with them? Stop kissing that girl! What do you do, Remy?
I'm going to try to get David Bowie's doors open, because clearly we've got a giant distraction going on. I don't know if I can leverage to say, like, I have secret ways, or if I just need to kick it open or whatever, but I'm going to open a door.
Okay. Are you telling your comrades what you're doing, or are you just hightailing over?
I'm just hightailing over.
Okay.
I'm not used to working with a team.
Gotcha. Sparks, you got the earliest boom box probably we have in Berlin, playing the funk. You see Remy scoot down the hall. You could hear the revelry going on over here. What are you doing?
And I fritzed for a second there. Which way is Remy running?
Remy's running down the hall just a little bit to a door that's closed. You see some people have tried to open it, and there's maybe 7, 8 people who are outside it, and they're singing Major Tom.
So down by Bowie's apartment is where.
That's Bowie's apartment.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm following after him.
Okay, you're following Remy. Are you doing the same, Wrecker?
Yeah, I think I'm like looking real suspicious though. Like, where the heck is Remy going?
All right. As y'all head down, and the party is sort of Iggy is the party when he's on. And so everybody's seeing Iggy and being around him. That's kind of plugged up all of this rush. So we only have that few folks at the door as you get up there, Remy. I think keep your cool if you want to just pick it to open it.
Okay, so...
Think that's your brains?
Yeah, I was looking at the list, and I think brains fits best, so...
Powering through would be kicking it, I suppose.
That's an 8! Fortunately, I have a +2 to it, or I just fail all my rolls.
Sparks, you're right behind him, and so are you, Wrecker. Anybody want to help a brother out?
I do say to the people, in a thick Parisian accent, hiding the provincial stuff, that, hold on, I will let the party to Mr. Bowie as I go to pick the lock, so that maybe they stand my way.
Can we help him out with an 8?
No, I guess it won't get us to a 10. Well, yeah, it's advantage. He'll roll another die and take the best 2.
Sorry, that one's not on the moves tab for some reason.
Oh, what? Help a brother out?
Yeah.
It was, but it seems to have disappeared.
That's weird. When you directly assist someone you have hooks with, roll hooks, and if you roll 7 to 9, you expose yourself to damage or have to pay a cost. A 10 plus, they roll with something extra. But they'll roll with something extra even with that 7 to 9 as well. So rolling with something extra is rolling with advantage, as we've seen in other systems.
I don't have any hooks with Remy, but Wrecker does.
You have at least 1 for the band, but Wrecker, yes, you have 2.
Like, the only way I would help, I think, would be, like, kicking the door in. So I don't know if that's helping. That might be disruptive.
Okay, sounds like we're going with that 8. If nobody has a help a brother out, and with that 8, you reach in, you start picking. The lock works. You push it open, but you're kind of off balance having leaned into the door. So as the door swings in, you kind of stumble forward and just and kind of lay out into the room. In this room, the lighting is completely red. All the windows have been blacked out, so even the street lights aren't coming in. You can see that there are several lamps. They have been completely enclosed in these red globes. So all that light is red-based. You see, it's an apartment. It has a couch. You see a big console TV. You see a record player off to the side, the little kitchenette over there. There's a rug down. There are also 2 very surgical-looking tables. On these tables, you see the same 2 gentlemen you encountered in the club. They're laying on it. You see their IVs going into them. You can see where the burn had opened them up. And these IVs going into them. And as you stumble in and look up, you can see the skin where they were burned is sort of throbbing and expanding a little. Between them, you see Coco Schwab, who's holding a bag for an IV, and she looks over at you and you're not supposed to be here. What do you do, Ribby?
No wonder Mr. Bowie doesn't want to party lately. I try to pick myself up from where I splattered.
All right. Behind you, Wrecker, you are looking in this door, and you see those 2 laying there. They seem like they're kind of unconscious. They're not moving. They did not react. Only her with this bag has seen you. What do you do?
I get all of us in there, and then I like look at the band playing outside, they're playing Space Oddity or whatever, and like I'm like, sorry guys, private party real quick. And I like slam the door.
Ah, they say.
And then I'd be like pushing Coco like into the couch or something as I start to like douse the bodies in alcohol.
Oh, awesome. She's like, no. Sparks, what are you doing?
So they're on these tables. Are they like hooked up to anything, or?
They got the IVs running into them.
No, I meant like machiney, or is there anything machiney around?
As you look over this place, why don't we scope a scene?
Okay. I got brains.
You do.
Not good brains. It's a 5.
Oh, dearie dear. You get an XP.
Cool.
You begin moving, looking around. We've got Wrecker, who's pushed Coco down into the couch. She's going, oh, no. And she's kind of laid that thing beside it. He's dousing it. Remy, you picked yourself up. And Coco, after being pushed to the couch, looks like, you see her reaching down in between the cushions for something.
I'm going to reach into my coat and pull out my 38.
Ooh. All right. You bring out your gun. What are you going to shoot her, or are you going to, what do you say?
Probably, like, aim. Like, I know what I'm doing with the gun, not just groupie waving a gun around, and the, freeze sort of thing.
Gotcha. All right. Sparks. Yes.
Oh, no, continue.
Sparks, this is going on as you kind of move past around the tables, and you could see in the corner, there's a door to a bookcase, the door probably to the bedroom or something. And on this bookcase, you could see there is a radio, but it does not look like any radio that is in America, should be in Berlin. It is clearly advanced technology. And you could hear that ping, ping. But I have a hard move on you, so if you don't mind.
What? From where? What?
Oh, no, yes. As you come up looking at it, that bedroom door opens. And as it swings open, inside you see one of those Germans with his blonde hair, his glasses. 9! Leave it alone! And he is shooting you with the Luger he has.
What? Why? I just a peace-loving, music-playing hippie.
I'm going to let you, if you'd like, take a hit or get out of the way. Otherwise, I'm just going to hit you.
Well, it's not take a hit, so yes, I would definitely like to get out of the way.
Roll that hustle.
Oof. Conversely, I'm amazing at not getting shot. I got an 11.
Oh, fantastic. The shot, but because I still need to pay off that hard move, it seems to make sense, it shoots right into that radio on the shelf. It blows up with lights and...
I was going to tinker the hell out of that.
But that guy just tried to shoot you. What do?
Well, I've still got one radio, and even though I didn't want to clash with the very moving acoustic performance of Space Oddity, it's now being sort of cut off, or it was Major Tom, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's now being cut off. The same thing. Okay, sorry. My brain is going in 5 different directions.
It is, yes.
Noise being cut off from out there, so I pull out the other radio / tape recorder weird hookup setup, place it down on my shoulder and just reach and turn the volume all the way up.
Oh, the funk begins coming in. Wrecker, those bodies that you're dousing suddenly start jerking. Their eyes open up as the funk starts bothering them intensely. What are you doing? You have a feeling that they're going to do something very quickly. They're ripping these things out of them. What you doing?
I think we're just going to be lighting them on fire.
Fantastic. Poof. Woof. This fire blasts up, and really quickly, there's a lot of stuff around that is catching fire because they jump up going, ah! And so the liquid flame has hit the curtains, the couch, Coco, the kitchen. I mean, it is very flamey all of a sudden. I'd like for you to roll Keep Your Cool so that we can see how you react.
Nice. I've got 9 at least.
All right, what you think you're doing? You hustling, and you think your brains, you think that you're just keeping it calm with your soul.
It doesn't. It all amounts to the same mechanically, except I have this move, and I don't quite get how it works.
All right,
that's my specialty. But when you use any aptitude to specialty roll as if they had a 3 instead of a 2, I don't.
Again, that comes back to what your aptitudes are, what you have that bodyguard set.
Yeah.
Do you think this falls into a bodyguard set? If so, then you'd get to use that +3.
Okay, gotcha. Like being cool under fire, like that, like generally does, but like lighting vampires on fire probably doesn't.
I suppose the question comes in, you see them on fire and this apartment going up like a torch. What is your next action going to be?
Like get everyone out of here that's not with us, or
that
like,
sounds very much like bodyguard. So that take you up to a 10?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right then. So you seeing Coco there is definitely been splashed. We've got Sparks with a guy shooting at him. You're gonna try and who you grabbing to get out of here?
I think I try and kick one of the flaming guys who just stood up into the other German guy, and then I grab Coco, and I'm like shoving her out and like patting her off to try and get that off of her.
All right. So your kick, and so we got flaming German that going after, going over towards guy with a gun, flaming right by you, Sparks. Remy, what are you doing? You've got your gun out.
I guess I'll fire a shot at the guy with the Luger unless he's on fire now. I don't think he's on fire now.
No, he's been kind of pushed aside and fallen back a bit, but no, he's not on fire himself.
Clearly he's gonna fire if he gets himself back up, so I will take a shot at him first, which is a move, I think.
Smoke his ass.
Woo, I'm gonna smoke his ass, although hustle is not my strongest thing. Ha, 9.
Ooh.
Oh wait, 10, because I have a 1 to it.
Fantastic. You shoot him into the shoulder, and as your bullet hits him, this sort of greenish black spray comes up from him. She looks down, and he took the hit, but he did not go down. Sparks, you're playing the music. Definitely caused the two who are now on fire to get all upset. But this guy didn't seem quite as... I mean, he's moved away from you and doesn't seem to like it, but he isn't as overwhelmed by it. What are you doing?
Well, that's obviously because he can't hear it very well. So, like, this is where we presume Bowie's apartment is.
This is Bowie's apartment.
We came here to save Bowie from nefarious influences, not burn him to death in Berlin. So I'm gonna try and get past the bodyguard because I assume Bowie's somewhere back that way in that part of the apartment. So I'm just running up to him and like slamming him in the face with the radio.
Oh, fantastic. Let's deliver a beatdown with that.
Oh dear. Why hast thou forsaken me, brains? So 10 minus 1 is still 9.
Excellent. You deal your damage to the target, or you can avoid counterattack, deal great harm plus 1 harm, deal 1 stun harm, disarm your target, blind hold or otherwise disable them, give or take something your target is holding or wearing, or push, pull, or otherwise move your target.
Blind hold or otherwise disable them. If I had 2 choices, I'd try and make it pass, but maybe someone else can do that.
All right. You hit him with this radio, and, you know, like I say, he was not liking it, but not overwhelmed by it. But as the power of the funk hits him full in the face, first off, there's a distinct crack as it hits his nose and forehead. And there's more of that greenish spray that comes out. But then the P-Funk Love starts getting the bass in there, and it's just rattling, and you can hear it. She goes, "Nein, not das Funk!" And as he says that, the head splits, and he collapses, his headless form spewing out black goo. Rennie, you see this. Wrecker, you're pulling these folks out as you know, getting them out of here as you see your comrades go that way. Or you see Sparks go that way. Sparks, I'm going to give you the first look into this bedroom, because behind you, it's really catching fire quite a bit. As you look in there, there is this really very nice bed, kind of tussled looking. You see where there are guitars around. You see there's a keyboard there. All that, just, it looks like it would be a musician's room. Except at the back, there's a closet, which door is open. And you see this very 1970s box computer. It's got the reel-to-reel on the front, the little blinky lights. And you can see that it has a tube that runs into it, going up to what looks to be another IV setup. And the bed, rumpled, is covered in dried old blood. There's no one in here.
I think I like take a minute and I sort of tear through, like, look under the bed, look in the closet, sort of thing.
Crackle, 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 fire, fire, fire.
There's no one hiding or anything in here.
You do not see anyone.
Shit.
By this time, I'm like coming back in for Sparks.
Okay.
So
you get into that bedroom seeing this.
Yeah, you find me over by that machine, just like pulling the reel-to-reel rolls off and sort of trying to like stuff them in a bag.
What are you doing, Remy?
I'm gonna follow Sparks into the room after I make sure that this guy is definitely down. He's got no head, though, so I don't think he's coming back.
He seems done.
Oh.
So, the three of you inside of this room, behind you is the crackling inferno that's really rising up quite a bit. Downstairs, you hear an old German woman going, "Ah, you have caught that building on fire, stupid rock and rollers!"
And then she slams her door again.
Slams her door again. All right. What do you do, Sparks? You've got the things. There's Wrecker, you know, like probably said, "Get the fuck out," but What you do, Sparks?
Do we believe in fire escapes in the 70s?
In Berlin?
Yeah, that's sort of my question. I don't know.
There's definitely a window.
Yeah, well, okay, fine. I'm going out the window. Let's see what's on the other side of it.
Are you lifting it up, or is this, I mean, it's a 70s movie. Are you busting through the window?
Yeah, I think with the last, like, sputtering bits of Parliament baseline sort of coming out of the busted radio, I just do, like, a full 360 spin and throw it straight at the window. Goes busting out, playing the last, like, lines of the chorus.
The window shatters. We get a slow-mo of that window shattering out, as we hear, kind of in slow-mo as well, the mothership has landed. As the window comes out, you look out. There is indeed a fire escape.
I'm running down that.
Wrecker, following behind? What you doing?
Yeah, I mean, what floor are we on? Like, how high up are we?
You're on the second.
Second floor? Okay. Yeah, I mean, so we can't just, like, jump out the window and then, like, an explosion follows us for some obscure
You
reason?
certainly could. I can see that. Oh, all right. So, Wrecker, as you bust through. Yes, Remy?
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, so Sparks just heads on the fire escape, and we both launch out of this window as it explodes behind us, and he's just walking down the fire escape.
I love it. And so as the two of you burst out behind you, the gas lines at the stove do. Woof. We see the big fire behind you as the two of you, and we can see the silhouette of you both flying out, catching the edge of the fire escape, we think. Why don't we roll a keep your cool for both of you two? So Remy and Wrecker. No, not keep her. Yeah, keep her cool. Let's do that one. What you think you're rolling with? I think it's either hustle or might, though it could be soul. Remy?
I mean, there's no way that I can spin this as me charming the fire escape into catching me, so I'll go with hustle.
All right. What you rolling there, Wrecker?
Yeah, hustle.
All right.
I got an 11.
Woohoo!
Nice. I've got 9.
All right. As Remy, probably your amazing Secret Service skills come in. Want to describe how immaculate you manage this jump out the window?
Remy manages to make it look like a carefully choreographed sort of thing, like might be in a music video when music videos start including stories instead of just the band playing, or actually are a thing, where he just kind of flies out, he's beautifully silhouetted by the explosion, catches the railing and kind of swings around, and it's amazing. It catches his hair just the right way. I mean, you couldn't have staged this better.
Excellent. Wrecker, you on the other hand, you come out clumsy. Tell us, why does this remind you of the last job?
This is how it always goes when, like, shit hits the fan. Like, I always manage to get everything, like, done, but it's never pretty. And the last time we had to do something like this, someone was chasing us on a roof, and I had to do a slide down one of those, trash chutes.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, just as I was doing it, like, the freaking garbage truck was pulling it away, and I had to catch the edge of that trash bin instead of finding a soft place to land.
I love it. Okay, so as you go across the alley, we see that catch. Ugh, and a heavy hit. Oof, as you land. The three of you reaching the bottom of the alley behind you. There are screams of people who are running from a flaming building. We hear Iggy screaming as well. At the back end of the building, down this alley, you see a door open. Out of it steps two of these German gentlemen. You would swear they must come from Central Casting. They might as well have been the same actors that have come out with their hair perfect up, and their rich coat and everything. Between them, they have a figure stooped, looking a little beat up, with a bag over his head. As you hear Dietrich go, "I was just looking for an interview." And that's where we're going to stop tonight's session. Thank y'all. I hope that was fun. It was a lot of excitement.
That was awesome.
We'll go real quick through our experience and advancements. We had a few fails tonight. Some of them a lot of fun. Can't get through the door. They're not ghosts. So you should have gotten some XP for that. Our buzz. David, I felt like you hit your buzz. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, I felt that one. Sparks. Quite literally, you escaped.
Yeah, and I think the whole idea of like problems about my past and trying to hide it from Remy came up a lot.
Well, and asking Remy to hide your problems from Remy was amazing.
Excellent. That's one for you. Remy, do you feel like you were hitting your strict code of honor?
I was trying to be a French special agent. It just didn't really come up all that often.
I thought there were some neat things. I thought the way you handled with Sparks was cool, and there was some neat talk in a couple of things where we dealt with you being an agent, staying undercover, kind of protecting the job. I would see that. I think you get that one. Hooks. There may be, if we look at some things, I could see Sparks and Remy, you having a new hook or something that we built here that would give it XP. You, Sparks, you kind of opened up here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have a specific hook with him, but I think this would be a great chance to build one.
Okay, what do you think that is?
I think it's I think Remy will help me keep them off my back.
Excellent.
Like,
Excellent.
He knows my secrets. He's got my back.
Cool. Put that down as a hook, and that would be an XP. Remy, did you have a hook with Sparks before?
I didn't, but I could definitely have one now.
There? Okay, what do you think?
Because I think he's trusted me with the fact that he's a Russian agent.
Okay. All right. So that's a hook and an XP. Wrecker, feel like any of your hooks shifted? Anything you'd like to pitch there?
Well, so I've got Remy is working a game I haven't deducted. I'm watching them closely, and like I think I saw some signs that Remy is not who they say they are.
Mm-hmm.
I need to confront them. I'm gonna put that as my hook. How's that sound?
I think that's excellent. I think that's very good. All right, so there's an XP for that one.
I think that my hook with Wrecker stays exactly the same. It's just much more relevant now. I love it.
And it was, what is it?
Oh, despite what I do, Wrecker makes me feel like myself, not my image. Because we jumped out a window together.
Oh, I like that, yes.
Freeze frame with the flames behind you, 8 different angles.
They spent some budget on this one. Oh, fantastic. All right. If we had a move that happened to hit one, you would have gotten XP for that. How are we looking for XP? Did any one level?
Please, I have 4.
You only need one more, right?
You need 7. This game is impossible to level up in.
Oh, it says in the sheet that you have yourself plus a nickel, so
so
6 should level you, which is still harsh. Okay. But it also says that you should get at least 1 XP every time, so I think we could say that Wrecker got an extra because he didn't get one last time.
Yeah, how are we? You're at 4, Patrick. How are you, Remy?
I've got 3.
You got 3.
Yeah, you would never level in this game.
No, it's slow as fuck, ain't it? Well, we're going to go ahead and say that we've all hit that 6, so that we can all get a nice move for our finale, or an advancement. And there's a lot of stuff you could pick up, new things, roll story moves, attribute increases, that sort of thing. But yeah, and it even has that once you reach 5th, you get other things. But this is a hard game to level in.
Yeah, that idea of like it takes almost as much XP to level up as Dungeon World, but has about half the end of session XP questions, and also is filled with rolling with advantage.
Right. And along with that, it's not set up to campaign exactly. It's set up to do like movies and maybe movie trilogies, but it really doesn't go off the idea you campaign game. Which is weird. It's an oddness. There are things in Spirit of 77 I don't adore, but then there are other things I just think are phenomenal. So we're all going to take that advance, that first advance. We're about to hit our time. Last time we did stuff we're looking forward to, try and get out. I still think I kind of know things we want to get out. This time around, if I could just get a quick rundown maybe of, why don't we we'll do Roses and Thorns at the end of the next one. Why don't we do stars on this one? We've said some things we don't overly like about 77, but why don't we say a few positive things about either the game or somebody that was in it or something about this system. So, Ryan, what stars would you like to hand out today?
Giant, glittery, funky star to Patrick's cocaine freakout. I loved everything about that and everything that came from it. It was wonderful.
Absolutely.
That was so weird. And not as funky star, but still an excellent star for Wrecker's regrets through the entire thing. They were very fun. I was getting ideas of what he might have done beforehand.
Patrick, stars to hand out?
I loved the whole their weakness is the funk storyline. That was amazing, getting to beat someone down and have their head explode from too much funk that was everything. And I thought all your NPCs were really fun. Rami especially, I was having fun being terrified of her, but she was really neat, and I like the sort of matter of fact, okay, well, I've called out my Diamond Dog robots to beat up the vampires, but everything's back to normal in my club now.
Excellent, thank you. And David, stars?
Can't say enough about how effing funny it is when a German vampire screams "Not das Funk" and runs away from Funky Town or whatever it happens to be playing. Oh my god, I laughed so hard every single time that happened. And then one of their heads just exploded. Oh my god, it's so that's what I came here for. That, and all of us getting up to just ridiculous high stakes action movie borderline shenanigans. If it wasn't in an action movie, you'd say why are they doing that? But since it's in an action movie, you're oh yeah, that's what's up. I loved the freak out. I love that the two of you, Patrick and Ryan, I love that the two of you are understanding what's coming over the radio, but keeping trying to play your cards close to the chest, but the audience knows what's actually being said. That was really a satisfying part of the dynamic that's developing between the two of you. And Wrecker's just kind of along for the ride, as this conspiracy is clearly it's just secret agents staring at each other when they can't politely actually shoot each other or whatever.
Yeah, definitely bonus star for the whole Russian agent storyline, and you leaning into that, Ryan. That's been really fun too.
I love that. And extra side star for Wrecker than being the incongruously practical one who's like, I guess we light it on fire. And we're like, schemes! And he's going, also fire? And then suddenly the building explodes.
Awesome. My stars, you guys are all bringing it. I mean, every scene is so full of awesome things. I like how we're really investigating this story. It may seem a little wild and crazy, but we're actually digging through stuff, and that's really cool. And I think that's fun. And we're discovering something weird and strange. And we're going to get back our journalist hopefully next time. And we could probably feel like the chateau is our next, is our big finale scene. But it definitely feels like there's a thread in this movie. It sort of makes internal sense if you're a little high.
This movie makes total sense. Like, I think I've seen this movie.
So, thank you all. I really, really appreciate everything y'all are doing, because this has been a blast. Both these sessions have been a blast. Thank you all for playing. I want to thank Tom McGrenery, who made Serious Moonlight. It has been a marvelous inspiration for this. The work he put into it is phenomenal. It has supported me all the way through. I hope that we have Michael back next time. We will have a big glittery conclusion, perhaps some fire. We seem to like fire, and I have to believe we're going to bring the funk. So, thank you all for playing. Any of you who happen to watch, please watch more. And I'm going to end the broadcast now.